questions. Last week I asked about Navy Lieutenant Bridge Alconis. I didn't know if you had an update on his case.
Oh, I do not have an update for you on that. I apologize. You did ask me about that. Hey, welcome to the briefing room.
Thanks so much, Karine. It's great to be here.
Are you sure?
We'll try to make this.
Take your time. We have a lot of time. Take your time. No pressure.
The administration, the White House is.
A very quick one. Did the president tell Al Sharpton he's running? That clearly.
You love asking me, Sebastian. You love asking me about 2024.
Well, did he tell?
Look,
hey, I'm running.
Here's what I will say.
You just want a clear answer. You know, everyone's.
I know you want a clear answer. I know, but he's. If Al Sharpton says it, it's you know. Look, it's so funny. You always ask me about 2024. So here's what I can say, and the president has said this himself. He intends to run in 2024. As you know, I cannot weigh in on elections. I cannot speak to elections from here. We do truly follow and try to follow the Hatch Act here. But I will just reiterate what the president has said many times. What I have said many times is that the president intends to run.
The president recently praised a group of Coast Guard rescue swimmers. One of them reportedly faces termination because he isn't vaccinated. And I'm curious, given the threats that we're facing abroad, would the president ever reconsider that vaccination requirement or consider issuing more exemptions?
So, as you can imagine, the president has the deepest respect for the U.S. Coast Guard. That is something that you would hear from him directly, and the president and the country are grateful for all of the U.S. Coast Guard heroes that have led the effort to save lives in Florida. We have seen that with our very own eyes these past couple of days. I would refer you specifically to the U.S. Coast Guard on this issue, on this individual questions. It's not something that I would comment from here.
Is there any scenario under which you would concede that you lost publicly in 2018?
In 2018, on the day I made that speech, if you played the beginning of the speech, I acknowledged that I was not the governor, that Brian Kemp won the election. What I said is that the process denied access to too many voters, and that was proven by more than 3,000 voters who made their voices heard, by a trial and a process that was the first full-length trial held on voting rights in more than a decade in the state of Georgia. I have never denied the outcome. I have always questioned the process and the access. And I think it's dangerous and disingenuous to conflate concerns about access, concerns about outcome.
Thanks, Karine. The administration has said Americans would be able to apply for student loan forgiveness beginning early this month. Is the process being held up at all because of the lawsuits that have been brought?
Don't have anything more on that. I think you'll hear more from us, from the Department of Education on that piece, on that implementation process. I think I've laid it out a couple of times here. They sent out some emails last week. But as it relates to the legal pieces, the lawsuits that you're seeing across the country, it's a shame. It's a shame that you have Republicans out there, Republican groups, Republican states that are trying to stop Americans from getting a little bit of a breathing room, a little bit of break.
2024, is Biden the best candidate to represent Democrats, especially if it's a Donald Trump he's up against?
You know, he's our president right now. He has experience. He has qualifications. I won't say if he's best or if he's not. I'll just say this. He has the qualifications to run. I remember when people said, should I run? People said no. You know, so I can't say that. All I can say is if he chooses to run, then that will be the nominee.
The president will look for an opportunity behind the scenes privately tomorrow to speak with Governor DeSantis about some of his concerns about his actions as it relates to flying migrants into other jurisdictions.
So, you know, obviously the president laid out his concerns and outrage by the stunt, the political stunt, and by the fact that people were misled. You've heard me talk about this. You've heard the president talk about this. There will be plenty of time to discuss differences between the president and the governor, but now is not the time. As you've heard from the president, he has said, when it comes to
oil prices, they're up today on the expectation that OPEC Plus is going to cut production by an estimated 1 million barrels a day. Would a production cut endanger global supplies, and how does the president intend to respond?
So just to be very clear here on that piece, we're just not going to comment on any OPEC action until OPEC acts, as you all know. In any event, we will continue to take steps to protect American consumers. Our focus, and it's been very clear for the past several months, has been on taking every step to ensure markets are sufficiently supplied to meet demand for a growing global economy. And thanks to this president's efforts, and his historic actions that he has taken, energy prices have declined sharply from their highs, and American consumers are paying far less at the pump than they were several months ago. And it's because of the historic steps that this president has taken.